Welcome back to WWE RAW Reactions here at Trippy Commentaries, the exclusive place to find our Raw reactions to every episode of Raw. And tonight we had Rusev facing off with Zack Ryder, and eventually he was going head-to-head with Mark Henry, someone you have been asking to come out and face Rusev for a long time.
Yes,
Retro Brett.
Definitely.
We're definitely seeing the makings of a match here, but before we could see anything remotely close to a match between Rusev and Mark Henry, we had to see Rusev versus Zack Ryder. Corey, not quite on that same scale, I have to say.
No. Lana came out before the match with Rusev taking on Ryder, said America sucks. Plenty more of this Russian evil foreign villain heat, and I mean, it works so easily. The crowd plays right into it. Rusev goes through Zack Ryder like shit through a goose. Accolade for the win. Mark Henry runs out to force Rusev to retreat after Rusev, of course, interfered in his tag team match earlier in the night. Guys, these two monsters are going to collide here very, very soon. I'm certain of it. Mark Henry grabbed the mic and said Rusev is scared of Mark Henry, and Mark Henry is scared of Mark Henry because he's afraid of what he's going to do to Rusev whenever he gets his hands on him. Mark Henry, guys, is going to put the US of A on his back and induct the undefeated Rusev into the brand new international wing of the Hall of Pain. I cannot wait to see Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, take on the Russian super athlete.
Oh, neither can I. But that's a very, very big back, so he can definitely place America on his back. Yeah, I think Rusev was playing a little mind games with Mark Henry, getting out of the ring when Mark Henry came down. I don't think necessarily that Rusev is as scared of him as Mark Henry thinks he is, but he's definitely scared, and I didn't think Lana did a great job tonight of being the villain. I mean, usually she has better promos than she did tonight, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the question is, will Mark Henry have a chance to knock off Rusev in his undefeated streak? That's something I really liked, that they actually acknowledged Rusev is undefeated. They did that a little bit later on in the night, but definitely something that, actually, I think it was right about now where they actually mentioned it really for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I think Mark Henry did.
Yeah, he said undefeated, which I really appreciated. I want them to push that undefeated streak. Is Mark Henry the one to finish that off? We will find out probably pretty soon.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. The match is going to happen at Night of Champions.
That'd be cool. We'll have to see. That's coming up pretty quickly here, Retro Brett. Corey, we've seen Stephanie McMahon, kind of looks like a man, come out, and apparently she had some exciting news that she couldn't wait to share with everybody that dealt with the Bellas. I know this also ended up involving Paige and AJ Lee as well. Things got pretty exciting there, man. What happened?
Yeah, that was a brutally appropriate intro you gave for the boss's daughter, Stephanie McMahon. She came out and had an announcement regarding Nikki Bella and the Bellas feud, the groan-worthy, bottom of the puke bucket Bellas feud. She basically recognized Nikki Bella as her character and her, how great she is, and granted her a match for the Divas Championship. The crowd just completely crapped on the segment for the get-go. It was a sea of boring chants that you could hear, actually, WWE turning down on the broadcast. It was kind of funny. Brie Bella made her way out to the ring. Bella blah, blah, blah. Then we saw AJ Lee come to the ring. Told Stephanie that she should leave the bickering to the Bellas and the Divas title to AJ. That brought out the Divas champion Paige. There was a big showdown between the two Bellas. Brie ended up pushing Nikki, who ended up knocking down Paige whenever she fell. Maybe we'll see these two Divas feuds transition into a tag team match. Brie Bella and AJ taking on Paige and Nikki Bella. I hope everybody out there can hear my excitement coming through your speakers right now. This match is going to be just completely... It's going to be the best snack break or bathroom break in WWE pay-per-view history.
Now, I know C-Dub, of course, is not the most excited person here for the Divas matches, especially in this case. But I'm sure we do have a lot of fans of the Divas that probably took this segment very seriously. Retro Brett, can you enlighten us? Can you give us any words of wisdom right now with this Bella situation?
Well, unfortunately, since I do almost have a bachelor's in psychology, but unfortunately the Bellas are too far gone for my expert analysis. But I will say that yes, this segment sucked until AJ Lee came out for some reason. Why the crowd loves AJ Lee, I'll never understand.
CM Punk.
I don't like her, but I will say, I mean, even though McMahon wore really high heels, she would have still towered over AJ Lee tonight, even if she wasn't wearing those heels. But man, she looked like a giant compared to AJ Lee.
I gotta say, I kind of felt like they were going to include Paige and AJ Lee as part of this Bella situation at some point. They kind of have to. You know, that's the two things they have going on with the Divas.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it happened tonight. All right, Corey, Jimmy Uso, who I feel like is the stronger member of the Usos.
I can't tell.
He seems to be getting some power moves in a little bit more. Maybe that's just me. He faced off with Goldust. Longtime favorite here. I know Goldust did pull out a victory, which kind of surprised me. What happened here in this match?
Yeah, of course, Goldust was accompanied by his younger brother, Cody Rhodes, a.k.a. Stardust. Goldust started off before the match on the mic to apologize for the actions of Goldust and Stardust last week after their match. The Usos called their bluff, attacked them right off the bat, refusing the apology. Apparently, Goldust and Stardust tried the same thing on last week's SmackDown. They tried the apology and ended up attacking the Usos. In the end, we saw Goldust hit the final cut for the pinfall victory in what was a quick but pretty good match, I thought. It was effective, certainly after that terrible Stephanie McMahon segment. It was definitely a step in the right direction. Goldust and Stardust, after the match, attacked Jey Uso, going after the injured leg. Stardust, a.k.a. Cody Rhodes, drives a steel chair into Jay's leg while it's wrapped around the ring post. Jey Uso sold it like it was just absolute death. Well, I thought it was a pretty good assault from Goldust and Stardust. I like where the feud's going. I like to see these two oddities, if you will, being treated as a little bit more dangerous and perhaps psychotic.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next. Speaking of next, our next matchup was a huge one. We saw a big teaming up. This was something that I felt like we hadn't seen in a long time here, Corey. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, we had... it was our main event this week. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, of course, made their way to the ring for the big main event. Roman Reigns, Chris Jericho, and John Cena taking on Kane, Randy Orton, and Seth Rollins. Just prior to that, though, we were informed that next Monday on Raw, Jericho would face Bray Wyatt in a steel cage match. Bray Wyatt cut a quick promo on the Titantron and asked Jericho, how far will a rat go to escape a serpent? Good question, Bray Wyatt. I'm looking forward to the cage match next week. But this week in the main event, we had that big six-man tag. Mr. Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins, makes his entrance to a great reaction from the Iowa crowd. Roman Reigns and Randy Orton started it off. Of course, they too will face one another next week on Raw. That's going to be a huge rematch there between those two. Pretty much my favorite move of the whole match, as Seth Rollins was coming off the top, taking the assault to Chris Jericho. He gets met with a standing drop kick right to the abdomen. It was a major turning point in the match. I thought the Authority, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, and Kane, did a great job of wearing down Chris Jericho and swinging the momentum into their favor. Of course, cutting the ring off, not allowing Jericho to get the tag. John Cena at the, of course, the end of the match finally did get the big tag. Completely demolished Kane, Orton, and Rollins. Cleaned house. Tags in Roman Reigns to back clean up, who hits the spear on Kane for the pinfall victory. Immediately after the bell rings, we saw John Cena head to the outside, where Triple H and Stephanie McMahon were seated to make his case for his rematch against Brock Lesnar. I feel like he's got a pretty strong case. Speaking of cases, we saw Mr. Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins, the holder of the briefcase, try to blindside John Cena, but got an attitude adjustment onto the announce table just to put a little bit more emphasis on John Cena's case for this rematch that I feel like he certainly deserves. Retro Brett, I know you got to be happy with how dominant John Cena looked tonight. I feel like he did a great job of looking like he's going to be a different competitor going into the rematch with Lesnar at Night of Champions.
Well, yes. Unfortunately, he didn't really have a whole lot of ring time tonight.
That's what I noticed.
But, yeah, he was dominant. And I especially liked at the end where he, FU'd or attitude adjustment, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins onto the announce table. That he just did that like as an aside, like saying "Screw you, Triple H."
I thought, of course, we've had a Super Cena situation here, but I really think that Roman Reigns came off as the more dominant wrestler here. He did all kinds of finishers. Now, he did fall victim to the choke slam by this new corporate Kane look. What do you think about that corporate Kane look where he's now fighting in his suit pants?
No, I think when he has a match, I think he should be Kane.
That's
and
what
when he's
I think.
Doing like corporate stuff, he should wear his suit and stuff.
Yeah.
But I also want to, I also be remiss if I didn't mention before Stephanie's big announcement to
Yeah,
Nikki
I don't know
Bella.
what the big announcement was per se.
Well, the big announcement was the title match that she was giving Nikki Bella.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But before that, they
Somehow
showed
missed
Triple
that.
H and McMahon backstage, and that was really, really cringeworthy. It made me gag, and
Yeah.
it was just
Well, so that was pretty much it. That was a big night. Cena came out as, of course, the #1 competitor to face off with Brock Lesnar, even though I think we all agree that he probably has no chance still. But if he wins, it would go a long way towards grabbing that record. Retro Brett.
I actually think he would stand more of a chance in a triple threat. Have the other person soften Lesnar up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that.
Maybe play a Miz and cower outside the ring until everyone's beaten down and come in. And no, that's not Cena's style, though.
Now, the best news we got of the night, in my opinion, was we learned that next week on Monday Night Raw, we are going to have a cage match, something we really love here at Trippy Commentaries, and what a cage match it is. It's going to be a longtime favorite of ours, Chris Jericho, facing off with Bray Wyatt. So yes, that's right, it's a SummerSlam rematch. Corey, are you as excited as I am for this cage match?
No doubt about it, man. I look for this to be the definitive match in this series between Jericho and Bray Wyatt. It's going to be in a steel cage. It's traditionally the ending to a feud. I'm really looking forward to it, guys. This is going to be an absolutely brutal match. You put Bray Wyatt, who is just an absolute animal, in a cage, and he is likely to turn rabid on Chris Jericho. As Bray Wyatt said earlier in the night, how far will a rat go to escape a serpent? I have a feeling next week on Raw, the rat will not escape.
Well, I will go as far as to call them a caged animal.
Nice.
Pun intended. But yeah, I think this match is great. Anyone who knows me knows that I love unconventional matches, not just the standard one-on-one match. And I love cage matches. Cage match, Hell in a Cell. They're all brutal and they're great. I'm really, really happy.
Definitely can't wait for that match. We'll recap the entire night for you. Of course, next Tuesday morning for our Raw reactions. I do want to mention there was still no sighting of Dean Ambrose tonight. Hopefully he's okay. It was really cool to see basically a Shield showdown, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns in the ring. Definitely something I've been waiting for a long time. We saw Roman Reigns, of course, mess up the eulogy that Seth Rollins was going with. And now we saw them actually fight in the ring, one-on-one, although it was a 3-on-3 match. They had their time together. I can't wait to see that again, but Dean Ambrose still nowhere to be found. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode of WWE Raw Reaction. Stay tuned here at Trippy Commentaries to all of our wrestling coverage, as well as a bunch of other stuff. We got something for everybody, guys. We have playthroughs of all of the classic games, new and old, and tons of other stuff. Make sure to check it out. And more importantly, guys, stay trippy for all of us here at the Trippy Crew. See ya for next week's Raw Reaction.